attention to the screens for a special message from Florida Governor Ron DeSantis.
Hello, this is Governor Ron DeSantis, and I want to thank the National Rifle Association for all you do to preserve, protect, and defend the Second Amendment rights of the American people. The Second Amendment ensures that the American people have the capacity to defend their lives, fortunes, and sacred honor. It's the last backstop of freedom, the foundation upon which all of our other rights rest. Now, there are some today who see the Second Amendment as an outdated remnant of a bygone era, but the capacity of the people to defend themselves is the basis of their ability to rule themselves. It is no coincidence that throughout history, one of the first things that authoritarian regimes have sought to do is to disarm their own citizens. I find it curious that the same people who advocate the defunding of law enforcement tend to be the same people who express hostility for individual gun rights. They want criminals to have the upper hand over law-abiding citizens. As governor, I've resisted calls to take up gun control, even when such a stand is superficially unpopular, because I understand that it is precisely at those moments when a right is unpopular that it needs true champions. Like we do with other issues in Florida, we've gone on offense to expand individual gun rights. I called on the legislature to expand Floridians' ability to protect themselves, their families, and all they hold dear, and we delivered. Earlier this month, I signed into law constitutional carry legislation that will bring Florida into line with 25 other states that recognize the fundamental right of law-abiding American citizens to keep and bear arms without a government-issued permission slip. Because of our efforts in Florida, we now have a majority of states in this country that recognize such a right. Now, your efforts in Tallahassee and in state capitals across the country paved the way for us to get this legislation across the finish line. We're also concerned about how the politicization of our economy and the advancement of so-called ESG and woke capital has threatening implications for Second Amendment rights. Too many major financial institutions have discriminated against those involved in the firearm industry, including owners of gun stores. These wealthy interests are trying to impose an anti-Second Amendment agenda on society, an agenda that they could never successfully advance through the normal political process. In Florida, we are enacting protections for Floridians against woke financial institutions. Nobody should be discriminated against because they are gun owners or because they are involved in the gun industry. And finally, we cannot allow administrative agencies of the federal government to enact gun restrictions through administrative fiat. We oppose that in the state of Florida, and we will fight back against that. I want to thank you for standing for freedom. Thank you for standing for our Constitution. I'm glad to have had your support for our efforts in Florida. Keep it up, and God bless America.